So good morning, everybody. I hope you're really well. My name is Ching, and I'm super excited today to cook something really straightforward and simple for you guys at the Royal Voluntary Service and all of you volunteers and anyone joining from the public. I hope you're okay as can be, uh, you know, considering the circumstances that we're in. But I hope I've got a recipe today for you that's really easy, straightforward, and that you would give it a go. It's something that I certainly love to cook, especially when there's those moments, we've all had it during lockdown when I just like thinking, oh, it's easier to order the takeaway. Yes, even me. I'm a chef and I know how to cook, but I also have those days. And this is something, this is a dish that I go back to time and time again. And I think to myself, gosh, I could save so much money from instead of ordering the takeaway and cooking something like this at home. And so this is a dish that actually sometimes, it makes me feel guilty when I don't cook it because it's that simple. And it's really cheap in terms of, it's not a big investment in terms of the ingredients. And I don't know how much you guys know about me, but, I love Chinese cooking. I was brought up by my grandmother on her farm in Taiwan. And, I learned how she would use very simple ingredients and make them really nutritious. And these were ingredients every day from the farm. We'd have, greens. Today I'm using spinach. We've got, had mushrooms, and we often use dried mushrooms. We'd have tomatoes and spring onions and lots of ginger. And then anything that we didn't have that, she and my grandfather would go on their motorbike and go to the local village and trade. Actually, they were bamboo and also orange farmers, so they would trade for other ingredients back in the day. But anyway, I'm digressing. But in a nutshell, just arm yourself with a good range of store cupboard ingredients. And I'm going to show you a few here. And you might have these already in your store cupboard. So we've got soy sauce, we've got sesame oil, black and white toasted sesame seeds, chili oil, your favorite chili oil, veggie stock, tinned sweet corn, salt, pepper, corn flour. So you're talking about maybe 10 to 12 pounds, depending on where you buy, in terms of the supermarket, in investment. But these condiments and store cupboard ingredients will last you a very, very long time. And then all you need is a couple of fresh ingredients. And in Chinese cooking, certainly lots of ginger. That's so good for you, spring onions, whatever greens you've got. I mean, this is a super, super versatile dish. So you can really make it your own, and maybe one day even open up your own noodle shop. But let's get started anyway. I think we've got about half an hour, and I'm going to do everything from scratch so that you could see literally just how easy it is. I've got a few good mornings. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Kelsey. Good morning, Catherine from Leicester. Well, hi, but I'm in Surrey, and it's a lovely sunny day today. So, okay, we're going to get things started. So I've got here a fresh root ginger. And as I said, ginger is very warming. It's got lots of good properties, healthy properties, antibacterial, antifungal. If you feel a little bit of a sniffle coming on, ginger's fantastic. Or if you've got a little bit of a headache or migraine, I was always taught that you just take a little bit off and then heat it on the hot stove and then just rub it against your temples or underneath your nose. It might burn a little bit, but it helps to clear the sinuses. And it's very yang, which means it's, gives a heat giving property. It warms up the body. That's what it does. So as you see, I'm just peeling the ginger with a teaspoon, and I just need about 1-inch piece of this. Or actually I'm always very greedy with my ginger. I just love to put as much as possible in. So you're talking about actually about 2 inches there. So it's up to you. Okay. And if you don't like ginger, and I've got niece I've got a niece and nephews, and they sometimes not really, they don't like the big hits of ginger because it can be quite fibrousy. So a good trick is to use a microplane or a grater if you've got it, and just literally just grate the ginger, okay? And it just really breaks down the fibrousy bits. You could finely chop it, but sometimes you can, it depends. If you like the bite of the ginger, that's absolutely, perfect. I do. But I find that sometimes in a stir fry, when you're getting kids to eat their veggies and you want them to be really healthy, you just want the gingers to melt into the oil, kind of, so they don't know it's there. Okay, so a good grate. Now, look, as I get older, I just want things to be much simpler. And I've also got a little mini food processor. So if you find this too much hard work, just pop this into a small mini food processor, give it a whiz, literally 10 seconds and it's done. Okay, but I just want to show you how simple it is. And I'm gonna persevere. It's quite a tough piece of ginger, and you'll find it can be, but yeah, put some muscle into it. Gosh, this is a good workout, isn't it? Right, okay, well, that's a lot of ginger now, actually. I'm gonna just save this so we can move on ahead. I think you get the point. I'm gonna save some of the juice and all of that. So that's all the goodness. And I'm literally just collecting it all on that microplane, and just putting it to one side. Now, the next thing I want to prepare is some fresh cherry tomatoes. I've got here about 100 grams. And, just going to just take off the tops like that and then just give them a rinse in your sink. Okay, so really quick to prepare. Just a good handful. I'm also very greedy with my cherry tomatoes. They are full of lycopene and antioxidants and just really, really good for your health. And actually, one of the reasons why, I'm finding that more and more as I cook, I just really want healthful recipes, recipes that you can eat every day. That's not going to cost you a lot of time, money, and effort, and that you're also going to, get a boost of the nutrients. So, fresh veggies, nothing better than fresh veggies and cooking from scratch, because you know exactly what you're putting into it. Okay, so I'm just going to collect my cherry toms, which I've just sliced, okay, in half, just so that they will, oh, actually, I missed a few, just so that they will cook quite quickly and soften down in our noodle soup broth. So that's all done. Next, I've got a tin of sweet corn. This is a large tin. So if you love getting the fresh kernels, you can slice around those. It'll be perfect in the dish. So I'm just going to drain it. But I find tin sweet corn is, it's just such an easy ingredient to have. You can just put that in salads. It's so delicious. And of course, actually, guys, I think I haven't even announced what I've cooked. I'm just assuming that you all know. It's my easy sweet corn noodle soup. So I'm sorry, a bit rusty. Lockdown brain. Okay, so there you go. I've drained it. And let me put this in a small bowl so that you can just see it there. Okay, so nice big amount. And then, oops. Right, next I've got here some fresh shiitake mushrooms. Now, mushrooms are full of antioxidants and they're so, so good for you. Okay, so, yeah, morning, can't beat ginger. That's from Ginger Smith. And then Christine, good morning from Northumberland. Good morning to you all. Okay, so next, the shiitake mushrooms. So quick. Now, a lot of chefs say don't wash mushrooms because you're going to make them too soft and too soggy. But I like to just give them a little rinse because sometimes you do get a little bit of dirt, on the stalks, for example, I missed a little bit. So you can, it's fine. Just give them a little rinse and you can pat dry with a tea towel. It's, because you don't want to eat you don't want that grittiness in the dish. So I just sliced it roughly, you know, it's so simple, just a quick chop into sort of 1 centimeter slices. Okay, and you know, try and get the fresh mushrooms. They really pack a punch, and they are just, I can't tell you how wonderful they are in terms of their nutrition content. Okay, and also they taste quite meaty, actually. And this is actually a plant-based dish, a vegetarian dish, but you could add, you know, cooked bits of chicken if you wanted to, or thin slices of fish that you just poached. You could add that in, but I'm keeping it plant-based, and actually it's because it's from my latest book called Asian Green. Little mini plug here, but it's based on my sweet corn soup with truffle. Truffle's not completely plant-based. It's not so good for the piggies, you know, depends on how the truffle's harvested, but you can leave that out, it's up to you. But yeah, it looks a bit like that, okay? And then we're just going to, I've adapted it so that I'm also adding some protein in terms of some smoked tofu, but as I said, you could use, you know, chicken or fish, etc. Okay, so what next? I've got here some fresh, ready to go spinach, and you can buy this from the supermarket ready washed. I've got here some spring onions, okay, nice, and this gives a nice bite to the dish at the end. So I'm just going to prepare them now while we're chopping everything. So 2 large spring onions. Again, give them a quick rinse in the tap, and then just top and tail them just to clean them up a little bit. And we don't waste the greens or the white parts, we use everything. And then just literally into nice sort of 1/2 centimeter slices into rounds. Okay, so really simple, really easy, like that. Okie dokie. All right, let me get another small bowl. Now, of course, you know, you can just pop it all on the board, to be honest, but I'm just separating everything because I've got a tight space here, as you can see. And so I'm just separating everything out and be easier once we come to cook. And then last but not least, I've got here my smoked tofu. So I'm not sure if any one of you have tried smoked tofu. Oh, yes, I've got Jackie Griffiths. Hi. Yeah, smoked tofu is fantastic. You can get this in most of the supermarkets now and also online. And if you can't get smoked tofu, you can, as I say, just stick with the mushrooms. I mean, you know, whatever you've got, or add more veggies, you know, like tender stem broccoli will be absolutely, you know, delicious. And so, yeah, you can just, and if you don't like tofu, I'd say that smoked tofu is the easiest way, easiest products to sort of get your taste buds, you know, used to tofu, because tofu is bland. But like anything, I mean, everything's bland. You know, potatoes are bland, and you've got to make those delicious and roast them. You know, it depends on the gravy and the sauce and whatever you're doing with them. So, so yeah, I think it's just, you know, we have this preconception or idea that, oh, well, we're not going to enjoy something. But I'm very much a believer of, you know, try it once, and then don't knock it until you try it, because you might be pleasantly surprised. And if it's really good, you might be missing out. So, okay, so we're going to slice tofu into nice long thin strips, julienne strips. Okay, so just thin slices first, like that, and you can slice them in half. Actually, I should have sliced them the other way, it would probably be slightly easier, but you can do this, you know, however you want. You can chunk it, you can just do it in cubes or squares. It's really up to you. Okay, look at that. These ones have been smoked, and they've got actually toasted sesame seeds in them, so they're really really nutty. I mean, so I could just eat this out of the pack, you know, like this, you know, straight away. Lovely, so delicious. And it comes preserved in a little bit of soy liquid, which you just rinse off when you open the packet. Okay, so we're just slicing this now into julienne pieces. That's that, like so. And I hope if any of you are walking along, you know, just take your time. You know, this is a really lovely, gentle, easy dish. Okay, next, noodles. Okay, now I've got here some vermicelli rice noodles. Now, these noodles come in these nests, square nests you can get at the supermarket. And the easiest way to prepare them, you know, 3 minutes in boiling water in a small pan and they'll be perfect. Or you can just get some hot water from the kettle. So I've already boiled the kettle already. And literally, we're just going to pour this over like that. Okay, just hot water from the kettle. And literally in 3 minutes, they're going to soften down. And guys, the rice noodles like this are perfect. They're low in calories and they work so well in a noodle soup. You know, you can stir fry them to make Singapore noodles. Just so delicious and versatile. Okay, so I think, you know, I've chatted enough now. We can get into the walking. So what can I say about the walk? I mean, it's a beautiful, you know, one walk wonder. And you'll say, oh, you know, Ching, you say that. But I really believe it. You know, you can steam, you can stir fry, you can shallow fry, you can deep fry, you can make soup. If you've got like a wok lid, you can even make popcorn in it. And, you know, whatever wok you've got, no one judges, you know. Even if you've got a cheap £9.99 wok, that will do the trick, and use it until it's on its last legs. I've got a carbon steel wok. Traditionally, I mean, if this is of interest to you, carbon steel retains heat very well. It works at high temperatures. So, you know, it doesn't warp and it doesn't misshape. And I've got one that is also rust-free. This has got a nanosilica coating on it, which means it's got like sand crystals blasted into the steel, which is going to give you a beautiful experience. This is actually my own wok called the Lotus wok, but unfortunately it's out of stock now. But you might get, you know, a stainless steel one, which is, you know, great to work on, or an unseasoned carbon steel that you can then season by burning a little bit of paper. And the seasoning is really like a black patina. It gives you a natural non-stick surface in order to create and cook your dishes. And there are non-stick woks out there that does have a bit of, you know, like Teflon coating. You know, that can come off and it's not scratch resistant, so you can't use metal utensils with it. And maybe it's not as healthy, but, you know, once you've used it, once it's done, you can, you know, don't waste it on its last legs and you can slowly ease it out. But yeah, find yourself a good wok. And, you know, the trick to finding a good one is, I always say, find one with a small base and then deep, shallow sides. Don't get one that's got a wide base and shallow sides, because that's more like a saucepan masquerading as a wok. Okay, you want the curvature of this beautiful wok because it allows you to toss the food and the food falls gently in the center, which allows for that even cooking process. Okay, so next we're going to just wok on now. And I'm going to heat the wok up to a nice sort of medium to high heat. Okay. And sounds good. Never tried it. Oh, it's making me hungry. I hope so. So I can talk a lot. I mean, this is an easy, super quick, you know, recipe. You know, if you had everything all prepped and stuff, you do it in 5 minutes. No problem. Dinner in 10 or lunch. Okay, so you've got a little smoke rising off the surface. I'm going to add in a tablespoon there of rapeseed oil. Then I'm going to quickly just add my ginger. So can you hear that sizzle? Just a gentle sizzle. Then we're going to add in the sweet corn and the cherry tomatoes. And I'm using, guys, a metal spatula, but remember, you know, use a wooden one if you've got a Teflon coating the wok, because you don't want to scratch it. And then just gently give that a stir. Oh, I can smell the sweet corn already, the aroma of that, and the ginger as well. And the ginger just melted in the oil in no time. Okay, so just whack the heat up a little bit more. And then at this stage, I'm just going to add in some bouillon stock powder. So I just need about a tablespoon of this. Okay, and you can get this in all the supermarkets. It's a great way, it's a cheap way to make veggie stock. So water and a little bit of this, and it's natural and it's really good for you. So just pour that in. We're going to lose the sizzle because this is gentle cooking now. But actually, why I wanted to stir fry the ginger, a little bit of the tomatoes, I wanted a little bit of caramelization, just a little bit of browning at the beginning, and that just enriches the soup broth. Okay, and we're just going to pour in now a liter of water. Okay, and we've got the stock powder in there. I'm going to whack the heat up now, and this is just going to gently come to the boil now. And as it simmers, the tomatoes are going to soften, the sweet corn is going to be even more tender and less crisp, but it's going to be really delicious. Now, at this stage, I'm going to season with some Shaoxing rice wine or dry sherry. But don't worry, if you don't have this, you can just leave it out. It is available in all the supermarkets, and it's really delicious. I mean, it gives a really nice sweetness and depth aroma to the stock. Okay, and I wanted to show you now here, I've got the dried shiitake mushrooms as well. Okay, these you can get in the supermarket, and this is a great cheap store cupboard ingredient if you can't get fresh mushrooms. And I always have this, and you can literally just take a handful and then just rinse it under cold water. And you only need a little bit because it packs a real punch, and just drop that in. But of course, we've got the fresh shiitake mushrooms, so we're going to be using those. And we're just going to add that in now to just gently cook, you know, with the rest of the ingredients. Okay, but I mean, it's just so versatile and just super, you know, fuss-free to have this. Just a little sprinkle. And in fact, the dried ingredients in Chinese cooking have the most flavor, the most intensity of what chefs call umami, that deep, rich, savory note. Okay, so look, we're just going to bring this to the bubble, and we're just going to let the ingredients do its magic. So, you know, at this point, when you're at home, you could put the telly on, or pour yourself a little drink, or catch up on some social media or friends and family, you know, on chat groups. It really is that simple and, you know, very gentle today. No fierce cooking today. Okay, actually, while that's coming to the bubble, it is on high heat. Good, it's doing its thing. Just checking for you. I've got here the noodles. Now you can see it's literally what, maybe it was 2-3 minutes, and the noodles have softened but still have a bite, and you can see they're lovely and springy. So I'm just going to drain these now while we're waiting. And of course, you can buy, you know, the rice noodles, ready cooked rice noodles from the supermarket. But I always find, you know, the fresh, ready to go ingredients can sometimes be a bit more expensive. So stocking up on these and putting them in the cupboard, you know, whenever you're hungry or want a snack, this is just, you know, super quick and easy. And if you wanted to use the noodles in a noodle salad, a little drizzle, little drizzle of this one, toasted sesame oil, just helps to prevent them from sticking together and gives the noodles a lovely nutty aroma. So if you wanted to stir fry that, it'd be absolutely delicious, and it just prevents the noodles from clumping together, is that wonderful toasted sesame oil. Okay, so how are we doing? So can you see, guys? It's, you know, gently bubbling away. It's not a fierce boil. I see some more questions. So we have a question from Sarah. Where's the Shaoxing rice wine located in the supermarket? And this is something I've always struggled to find. Okay. So some supermarkets like for example, Waitrose, they have their own brand of Shaoxing rice wine, and you can find it in the Chinese section where all the soy sauces are, the vinegars. So that's where you will find it. And they come in different packaging and different bottles. You know, this is more the Taiwanese one from my own country, so I always feel a little bit more, you know, comfy using it. But you know, most supermarkets will have their own branded Shaoxing rice wine, different qualities. This one is brewed, I think, minimum 5 years, 3 to 5 years at least. It's got a really wonderful flavor. Okay, so I hope that helps. You can always buy it online as well. And there's a great supermarket that I love that all chefs go and, you know, find unusual ingredients, is Sous Chef. So check it out, just Google it, type Sous Chef, and they deliver all over the country. So I hope you'll be able to find this one. Okay, so now you can see, guys, you know, it's come to a rolling boil. Just turn the heat down now a little bit. We want it to be a gentle, you know, simmer. But you can see lovely, and the aromas, and you can see just the tomatoes have really softened down. Okay, and you can actually, you know what, I love to sometimes cheat. Some tomatoes can be a little bit more sort of hard and raw, depending, you know, how they are. You know, if they've ripened or not. So what I like to do sometimes is cheat, and I can see a few, and what I use is the back of my spoon and just push them against the wok, just to completely mush them like this, okay? And the skin is still on. Look, all the nutrients are in the skin, so you don't want to waste that. But as you can see, that it just really softens down and just really becomes tomatoey and rich and savory. And just, oh, so delicious. And I think, you know, in a sweet corn soup, you've got to have mushrooms, and you've got to have the tomatoes, not just for the nutrients wise, but just taste wise as well. It just adds this incredible flavor. Okay. And then just give that a little push. Okay, just along the sides. Brilliant. Okay. So good little gentle trick there. Now I'm going to start to add the seasoning. So I've got here some tamari, or you could use a good quality light soy sauce. Tamari is just gluten-free, so it doesn't have any wheat in it. And in fact, this dish could be gluten-free as well if you use tamari and not a normal light soy sauce. So just a good tablespoon in there. Not too much, because we've got the flavor of the stock, remember, and the tomatoes, when they cook down, they're super umami and savory. A little drizzle of toasted sesame oil, a pinch of ground white pepper, you know, all these ingredients you have in the store cupboard. And then at this stage, I'm going to add in my smoked tofu. I'm also going to add my noodles. Okay, so just gently pop that in there. Lovely. And we've got a lovely golden red and yellow color here. At this stage, yeah, lastly, I mean, it flies really quick now. So lastly, because everything is cooked, including the smoked tofu, we're just going to wilt some spinach leaves. And, you know, spinach is so good. You just add that at the end, just to literally gently wilt down, and they're full of iron, full of goodness. So, you know, in this dish, you're going to get your 5 a day, really. You know, you've got the ginger, you've got your mushrooms, you've got tomatoes, you've got spinach, and then I'm also going to add some spring onions now, okay? And that we chopped, and just sprinkle that in. Maybe save a little for garnish. We're going to make a pretty picture, pretty photo. Oh, before I forget, add in, just to thicken a little bit if you want. I like it quite loose and brothy, but if you want the soup stock to be a little thick, you can just pour in a tablespoon, heaped tablespoon of corn flour with 2 tablespoons of water, and that just gives it a lovely silky sheen and thickness to your soup broth. Okay, lovely, wonderful. Okay, now before the spinach gets too tired, we're going to serve. So I'm going to arm myself with some tongs, so get the noodles out first. Look at that, lovely. And we don't cut noodles because noodles symbolize longevity in Chinese cuisine. So you don't want to cut away your long life. This is meant to enhance your life. Okay, that's it. So a good amount of noodles, and this will serve, you know, good 2 portions. Or you could do this as a lovely soup as a starter. I'm just going to much veggies and goodness as possible, and the mushrooms, the tomatoes. And I'd normally use a much bigger bowl than this, but and a good amount of the spinach. Just try and make a nice pile at the top, so it's all. So we love to eat with our eyes, don't we? So nice and pretty like that. And you can of course sprinkle some toasted and black and white sesame seeds as well for a nuttiness, and they're also, you know, really good for health. So, you know, you could, I mean, at home I'll just throw it all in and slapdash, and then that's it, and just quickly serve it. But you know, we're going to sprinkle some here over the top like that. If you wanted to do it much more elegantly for someone special, maybe. And some chili oil. So just going to season with a little glug of chili oil because I love chili oil. And that's it, guys. That is my easy sweet corn noodle soup. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to just clear some space now, and I promised the lovely guys at Royal Voluntary Service I'm going to take a photo. So excuse me. One woman band. Okay, there you go. So you just present it nicely, get a nice pair of chopsticks, and we eat with a fork and a spoon. And just going to take a quick photo, and that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, and if you've got any questions, I'm about still, you know, you fire away. I hope it's inspired you to create something super quick, simple, easy, and also healthy. And if you want, you know, if you love cooking and you love plant-based cooking, or you want to eat more veggies, you want to get into it, check out my new book. There's a deal on Amazon at the moment on Kindle, I think $8.99, real bargain. And sometimes you'll see it for even £1, I think, on Kindle. So check it out, and lots of recipe ideas. You know, you guys have been great. So thank you so much for joining me, all of you. You know, Leslie, Jackie, Anita, Debbie, Michelle, Sarah, Catherine, Sue. Is that Sue? I'm going blind. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me. And listen, look after yourselves out there, and you know, take one day at a time. Health is definitely wealth, and you know, it's you know, it's all we've got, really. You know, forget everything else. Forget everything else. Take one day at a time. Look up at the sky and just enjoy your life. Life is short, you know. No time for worries or, you know, stresses. Just take each day you know, at a time. And I wish you lots of love, good health, and keep in touch. I'm on social media. You can follow me, follow the lovely guys at Royal Voluntary Service. And, you know, volunteering is great. You know, at times like this, putting ourselves out there and helping each other, that's the only way we're going to be able to get through this. So lots of love. Take care, right? Big kiss.